Yes, hello. Yeah, it's just it should if it's gonna be a weekday, I don't think it should be a Thursday anymore because, well, that's one of my office days, and well, sometimes my drive home is rather long, and I just end up wanting to punch something when I get home and not really talk to anybody. I don't punch things, don't worry. There's a difference between wanting to punch things and actually doing it. Oh yeah, punching politicians? You bet. Sign me up. Where do I sign? Great. Not great anymore.
Okay, let's try that again. Hello, everyone. Now we have audio.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Well, we had your audio, but apparently we didn't have any of mine. So, welcome to the show. It is, May 12th, 2022. Some of the back and forth, we were talking about how we'd love to punch politicians in the nose because that would make us feel better. And also that we should try to find a more consistent day to do this show. So, anyway, now that everyone is up to speed, I really don't have anything super planned for this show. We are basically going to just BS for an
We never
hour
do.
or so.
It's fine.
We used to have this. The show used to be more planned out, but anyway. So I've got some news, Zach.
Do tell.
I have been talking to a chica lately,
What?
a girl.
Oh, okay.
You clearly did not take Spanish class, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of interesting. Has a very similar sense of humor to me. So it's been interesting. Hasn't gone anywhere yet. We're still in the talking phase, but kind of a thing there. So, something else to, I don't know, keep me engaged with stuff other than just technology. So, there's that, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, not sure what to tell you, but very cool.
I mean, that stuff doesn't really excite you because, well, Zach's an introvert and doesn't care to associate with other people a lot.
Oh, come on.
You gripe when you have to drive into the office.
Well, yeah, why would I want to sit in the office? That doesn't have anything to do with like some kind of hatred of anyone else. It's more like, well, okay, listen. Here's the thing, right? Who actually goes to the office and spends 8 hours working? Nobody does. Nobody does, okay? But in the office, you have to keep up appearances and make it look like you're working all 8 of those hours. Or else somebody's going to be breathing down your neck about why you're not being productive. At home, you just do the things they ask you to do, and when they're done, you don't have to account for the time that you spent doing God knows what.
No. My manager is fully remote.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. But mine is not.
Yeah, no, my manager is like fully remote. I do see my manager on occasion, because my manager is on on the team that handles like our servers and stuff like that. And so if there's anything physical that needs to happen with like a actual physical piece of hardware, right? Like for instance, we are in the process of condensing our data center down into one rack for on-prem stuff. And we got some new servers, so obviously they had to come in for that kind of stuff. But yeah, other than that, my manager is fully remote.
Well, that's nice, but mine's not.
So,
And not only that, but most of the things that I would rather be doing that aren't work are not at work. So there's that. I mean, sometimes when I'm at the office and I don't have something to do, I'm literally just sitting there bored out of my mind. Like, please just give me something to do. I'd rather work than sit here and do nothing.
I can't see. Here's the thing, like, so based off of what you've told me about what
Because
it
I
is that
actually
you do,
often don't have things to do.
yeah, like what?
Well, I mean, it's kind of nice.
Yeah,
But it's not nice when I'm in the office and I'm bored.
Yeah, you're not really a, well, okay, so I have enough things at my position to keep me busy. Currently, the big project, we are getting ready to onboard 20 interns in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it has been a lot of getting systems ready to go, getting user accounts created, assigning roles and permissions, and that's kind of where we're at now. So we had all the computers prepped a couple weeks ago at least, and then we got all the new hire tickets, and we got a message at the beginning of this week from one of our HR people asking us if their email addresses have been created yet, because they needed to start scheduling all their trainings and stuff like that, and getting those on people's calendars. And we responded back with, some of them are created, others are not. We are waiting on managers to approve the new hires, basically. To which that person responded, okay, let me go contact all the managers. And within about 10 minutes or so, all of those new hire tickets have been put into a state where we could actually start working with them. So then I spent like the rest of that day, 2-3 hours or so, basically putting information into a spreadsheet and then running our automated script that spits out all of our users. So, yeah. And then I spent the last couple of days getting computers ready for people, signing into them, getting some software installed, things like that. And then I spent a little bit of today looking for power bricks for all these computers. And I think all we really have left on this stuff is basically, yeah, finish contacting managers to figure out what roles we need to assign to all of our interns and make sure they have the right permissions, and I think we'll be good. So, gonna be fun. And then in a couple weeks, I go down to our other office to go do all their onboarding. Or about an hour.
I'm sorry to hear that. I learned not to really like onboarding.
I get to go travel. I get to go see my counterpart. And I get to meet all of our new interns. But I'm much more of a people person than you are.
It's not about that. It's about, hey, can you add my printer? Hey, can you add my some garbage program? Hey, how do I do stupidly simple thing?
You have to realize, well, one, I get one intern at my location.
Or even better, if they're a pre-existing user getting a new computer. Hey, my old computer had QuickBooks 2003 on it. I need you to move that over. Thanks.
Yep. Look,
or,
okay.
Hey, my last computer had every single site printer added. Please, I need them all.
Okay, so cool thing, right?
Need to test them all too.
Well, one, like nobody in our environment prints, like ever. It's a very rare occurrence when somebody does need the printer.
Printing is boomer technology. Change my mind.
So this is what we do in our environment is we have 4 MFP printers, right?
Have what? Huh?
Multi MFP.
Oh, one of those giant like
Yeah, the multi
contraptions.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, those
functional
satanic machines.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We have giant Konica Minoltas, right?
Oh yeah, those.
That have all the bells and whistles and everything in them, right?
Oh yeah, that's probably.
And then we have a software that runs on one of our servers as a print server, right? So when you actually submit a print job, what happens is it gets submitted to a virtual printer, and then you just go up to any of the printers, 2 in our location where I work, and then 2 in our other location. You just go up to any printer, you scan your badge, your print job will release.
Yeah, those things.
So it makes adding the printer really, really easy. So when people need it, like most people don't. 2, all but one of the interns will be in my location. Or excuse me, will be in the other location, with my counterpart, right? So I only have 1 out of like the 19 interns at my location. 3, we are a software company, right? The interns that we are hiring and the people that we hire in general just have a general higher level understanding of technology. So yeah, I really don't get the, hey, I need to add the printer, or hey, I locked myself out of my computer. Although this was an interesting one. So actually, I did have a user on Monday. Monday was a very interesting day. I had a user on Monday that contacted me about 8:30 in the morning and said, hey, I changed my password over the weekend and I don't remember what it is and I can't log into my computer. And I was like, okay. So step 1, do you have a second device that you can use? And they're like, well, I've got my phone. Can I change my password there? And I'm like, yes. Oh, wait. Hold on. So, Zach, at this point, can you tell me what the problem with that is?
Run me through that again.
So, user. Okay, let me explain our environment real quick, right? So we still have on-prem DCs, right? And all of our systems are, at this point, still currently connected to a domain, right?
Yep.
I have a user that is remote that had changed their password on Friday, right? Come around to Monday, they couldn't remember what they had changed their password to, right? So they needed to reset it, right?
Yep.
Now, in our environment, right, we have an Azure Active Directory set up that does the password syncing back and forth between Azure Active Directory on-prem, right? So I asked the user if they had another device, and they said, yes. Can I change my password on that? I said, yes, you can change your password on this other device. But where is the problem going to happen? Or what isn't going to happen? I think about the scenario, right?
I'm thinking, is it something to do with, like, will the old device, like, still have the old password cached?
Exactly.
But I don't see how that's a problem.
It's a problem because it needs to check in with the DC. Oh, and this user is also remote. That's the part I probably should have thrown in there.
Okay, I see.
So, how do you get a computer to check in with the DC that's off-site?
VPN in.
How do you get connected to the VPN?
With your creds that are not working because you forgot them and you had to change it.
There's one step before that, though. what do you have to do?
Oh, get logged into the computer, but that's not strictly a requirement because some VPN programs have like a
Our particular VPN
capability to.
Our particular VPN program requires that you sign in first.
Well, then that person is very, very, very screwed.
To which I asked this person, I said, oh, yeah, you can change your password, but it's not going to sync back to your computer. Not until you can connect to the VPN. How far do you live from one of our offices?
Probably hours.
Oh, they were about a half an hour away. I was like, your best bet is honestly probably to just drive into the office. That's going to be the easiest solution for you. To which this user, very rightfully so, said, okay, but there must be a process that you guys have for, because we have users that are in other states, right? Like, there must be a process that you have for getting users back in sync that are off-site, in other states. And I'm like, well, yeah, we do. But first, they don't forget their passwords. So, no, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so I tell this person, I'm like, yeah, your best bet is probably honestly to drive into the office, be the quickest and easiest way to get you sorted out, right? Well, they didn't really want to do that. So I'm like, okay, we've got a way that we can maybe get this working, right? So we have a local admin account built into the computers, and then we utilize Laps to generate random passwords, for that account.
Do you get them logged in, then they VPN in, then it syncs up, and then they can change it?
Yes, that would be the hope. Did not work out that way. So the first problem was I was able to get logged into a DC, I was able to pull the Laps password, and I was able to give that to the user, to which they typed it in. They hit enter, and the computer promptly said, "This account has been disabled."
Oh, they are very, very, very screwed now. Very, very more screwed, yes.
So,
Unless there's another local account.
No.
Or another account with a cached password.
Nope.
How are you supposed to know which accounts have a cached password?
You don't really. So, I'm like, well, that's interesting. That's not supposed to happen. Well, let me go work with some of our other IT people and, figure out what's going on. So I contact one of our other guys and I say, hey, the local admin account is disabled on this computer. To which I get a response back of, what do you mean it's disabled? It shouldn't be disabled. What? I'm like, uh-huh. So we have remote management software, luckily, on our computers. Although by default it has a privacy mode that is turned on. Oh, and you want to know the best part about the privacy mode, Zach? It can be turned off, but what do you have to do first?
Log in?
Yup. But this remote management software luckily allows us to push PowerShell scripts and stuff to the computers remotely.
There you go. Okay, that's good.
The other guy was able to push a PowerShell script command to turn that account on.
Don't you have like ConnectWise or whatever you call it?
No, we do not use ConnectWise. That was at a different...
Well, I have it now. I'm back to having that at this company, and it's so much better.
We have a different solution.
Bomb Garbage can go and bomb garbage itself into the dumpster where it belongs.
No, we have a different solution. I won't say what that solution is, but we have a different solution. And so anyway, so we were able to execute a PowerShell command, turn that local admin account on, and we were able to log in then at this point, right? So now we're logged into the computer, right? So now you would think, okay, easy enough, user connects to the VPN, right? Yeah, no, that's not what happened, and here's why, Zach. In our ever-growing effort to always implement more security to our environment, which is both a curse and a good thing, because it means we're very secure. We have recently implemented changes into our VPN that look for specific software to be on and monitoring. So it's like security, antivirus software, right? Because what was happening was we were having people, specifically in one of our other offices in a different country, I believe, from time to time signing into our corporate VPN from like personal devices. So we implemented this rule in. The other thing we implemented in with this change was certificates, right? And what the certificate does is it automatically pre-fills in the username in the VPN connection box, ensuring that only that user that is logged in can access the VPN.
That actually I can see being kind of annoying, yeah.
Now, we have logged in as the local admin.
And the local admin doesn't have a VPN account because...
Doesn't have a VPN account, doesn't have a certificate. So, the VPN software just flat out was like, no, you don't have a certificate.
Nope.
So, I contacted our networking guy, and I'm like, so, here's the situation. And he's like, okay, well, let's hop on a call real quick. So we hop on a call for about a half an hour. We get into one of our servers, export the certificate for that user, import it into the computer, and we're thinking, okay, this should hopefully work. The certificate is there now. Yeah, no, the computer and VPN software were not having it.
So, at what point did you just tell the person to come into the office?
This was at that point. So, anyway, our networking guy was like, I don't know. I'm stumped. I don't have any other ideas. How far is that user away from the office? I'm like, about a half an hour. He's like, yeah, their best bet is probably to come into the office. I'm like, yeah, that's what I told them at 8:30 in the morning. This is now close to like 11 or so. At this point that I've been working on this. Yup. So at least we know the security that we implemented in is working. Because we haven't figured out how to break it yet. Or bypass it. So, I mean, that's good. We're going to have to come up with some kind of solution, though, because if this happens to somebody who is, like, legitimately in another state, that's going to get interesting.
So you're saying that right now, if a remote user needs to reset their password and for whatever reason cannot do that...
It's only going to be a problem if they can't physically log into the computer.
Yes, which they wouldn't be able to do if they don't know what their password is, or I guess if Lapse also fails too, okay.
Well, Lapse is only going to help us get into the local admin account.
Which is technically a login.
Yes, but you can't connect to the VPN because of the problems of that. See, this is where all the problems are at this point now, because previously we would have a user log in as the local admin, connect through the VPN. We had a script that they could run that would force the computer to check in and pull the new password, and then they were able to sign back in. The problem that we're running into now at this point is that a user can't connect to the VPN anymore with just their credentials. There's a certificate that needs to be a part of it as well now. And the certificate looks specifically, I think what's happening is it's specifically looking at who's logged in and matching some stuff up. I think is what's happening. I could be wrong. I don't know enough about it. But anyway, yeah. So no, if a user at this point forgets what their password is and they are in another state, we don't have a solution for getting them logged back into their computer at this point. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so I end up having this user. I call this user back at this point, and I say, look, I've been working with all the rest of our teams. We just implemented this new thing, so it's, something new that we're working through. And it's not like he could just turn it off, because if he did, like, it would have affected the entire company, and the way our company works, like, there's approvals that all have to, like, go through people. So it's not like we can just turn things off when it's something that significant. So I tell the user, I'm like, our networking guy recommends that you just drive into the office. And they're like, okay, well, I have an appointment in town at like noon or whatever, right? How long
Wait. So all that, and they were like, oh, yeah, I already have an appointment at noon in town.
Yeah.
Like, really? I would be angry. I would be like, and you didn't just come in? Seriously? Oh my god.
I could have cared less. It gave me something to do in the morning. And I really didn't have anything else going on at this moment. But yeah, it gave me something to do. But the ironic part is now the user's asking me, Zach, well, yes, how long is it going to take to get my computer, like, working again? Well, you know the answer if they come into the office and they're on the network, Zach. How long?
Like 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Five seconds. Which I'm like, yeah, so this is literally the stupid part. I just need you to come into the office, connect to our network, and log in. And that's it. That's all I need you to do.
Yup.
So user comes in. We get them connected to the network. I say, yep, go ahead and log in with your new password. They log in. I'm like, okay, you're good to go. I'm like, I literally told you it was going to be that stupid simple. So, yeah. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of it was that this person had a meeting that was scheduled. They're a project manager, and they had a meeting scheduled with their team. And so they were trying to make the meeting, basically. And so I'm sure driving in, things like that, they probably would have either been cutting it close or maybe missed that meeting, which they missed the meeting anyways because they weren't able to get logged in. But yeah. So that was the fun that I had on Monday, and then had lunch, and then pretty much after lunch spent the rest of the day, yes, getting computers set up for interns. So, or user accounts created for interns. So, anyway, yeah. So what fun IT stories do you have, Zach?
That's the thing is, here, I don't really have very many anymore. And I'm happy with that. It's fine. Everything is fine because, well, I'm sure everything is not fine because nothing is ever fine. But the things that aren't fine, I don't have to look at them. I don't even have to think about them. I only think about the things my manager asks me to do. That's it.
Which is mostly what?
Mostly publishing new software in Intune.
Like, okay, yeah, so you manage Intune to a degree, but, like, what do you yeah, I don't understand what this company constitutes.
Sometimes he sends me a list of, like, okay, yeah, I want you to add these users to a group, and that's really tedious, and I hate it. And also, we have this, like, patch manager thing. He has me do that. He'll just tell me, I want you to push patches for this, this, and this to a bunch of computers. Yep, okay, do that. I mean, stuff that's not too difficult.
Adding users in Azure is not difficult.
I didn't say it was. I said not too difficult.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I should ask, do you actually do that through Azure, or do you do that through AD?
Mostly, it's mostly in Intune, yeah.
Well, Intune is part of Azure.
Yes, I understand that. But I do not have access to log into Azure AD, so yeah.
Huh. So how are you adding users then? You must have some user management ish permissions.
Yeah, I don't fully understand the relationship between Intune and Azure AD. I mean, I don't know.
Well, okay, so let me ask
In
how
fact,
you're.
I actually don't even have access to groups in Intune, but for some reason, when he direct links me to a group, I can do things in it.
So in our environment, we have what's called just in time access, where I can request. I have
Yeah,
specific
you've told me about
roles
that.
that I have access to.
I do not. We do not have that thing here.
And I will request access to a particular
Honestly, that sounds
functionality.
awful. Ugh.
It's actually not horrible.
Be me in the middle of something, and then need access to this. Oh, okay. Oh, great. Time to write a nice letter to some Dumbo to
the
please
process.
approve, please, pretty please
No,
approve my access to
no.
this.
It's all automatic. So here's what I do. So I log into my Azure portal, right? And then I go and select. Let's say I need to do something with Exchange, right? Create a distribution list or something like that, right? So I have a specific role for Exchange. So I will request that. It will ask me to input a ticket number and a reason as to why I'm requesting access. And then I will click activate. And in about 10 seconds or so, 10-15 seconds, my access is activated. So it's all self-service. I don't have
That
to
sounds
wait.
like a lot of work when you could just do it.
Again, so
yeah, I know, auditing corporate.
Yep,
corporate,
our
blah,
big
blah, blah,
our
blah,
big
blah,
thing.
blah.
Our company is very very. We hold very very high security standards, which for some of the projects that we are working on, background into my company, we are a software company with a focus on integral businesses, many in the financial industry. And so when you're talking about some of those things, security is kind of a thing. And so we hold very high security ratings from, I don't know, you can get I forget exactly what the association is or whatever, but there are companies out there that like if for like payment stuff, right? You've maybe heard of the term PCI compliance, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so it's
All I'm saying is
it's a similar thing.
Accountability good, but I don't really want to deal with it personally. I just want to have some creds that work when I need them to work. Do my work.
In our environment,
it just sounds so annoying. I get why. I'm not saying it's bad.
Right.
I'm
yes,
bad.
Okay,
don't be like me.
So yes and no. One, because like this is the only like IT job I've ever had, and I just like it's been a part of it, right? So it's like, okay, this is what we do in our environment. But we've tried to set it up in a way where it is as least intrusive as possible and as easy as possible, basically.
Yeah, but anytime I have to click a bunch of things to get access, that's too many things to do, honestly.
The nice thing is, though, is that the access requests last for up to 4 hours.
Too many clicks, too many headaches, too many annoying.
Honestly, if you do it twice a day, right? Depending on what you're working on, right? So let's say that I'm creating a new user. I will request 3 accesses. I will request licensing, user administration, basically, and the Exchange administration. And once I request that, it is good for, like I said, like up to 4 hours. And so anything that I need to do within that time after I've authenticated once with all that and activated my roles, I am then pretty much good for the rest of the day, or at least for the rest of the morning. And then if I'm still working on stuff in the afternoon, request it one more time and I'm good for the rest of the day. So, it's not horrible.
Well, anyway, to answer your question, the top 3 things that I do at my job is, hey, I want you to deploy this application to Intune and just put it in the test group and make sure it works, so that when we push it to the groups that of the users that are actually going to use it, that they'll be able to get it. Okay, I'll do that. Number 2, hey, I want you to build a profile that puts these restrictions on a device. Great, fine, I'll do that. And 3, I want you to push these patch numbers to everybody. Great, I'll do that. Yeah.
You guys aren't using autopilot in your environment yet, are you?
Yes, we are.
Okay. How are you liking it? Or you probably don't see anything.
I don't see. Actually, I do see it a bunch. I mean, it's kind of. I guess this job duty would be like a little bit of a branch off from what I'm normally doing day to day, but sometimes when like a site or like division or whatever will get a bunch of new computers, sometimes my manager will have me like basically call them up and help them get set up and get through autopilot and all that.
Which, honestly, from what I've seen with autopilot, at least on the Windows side, is pretty seamless.
It's really funny actually how autopilot really differentiates users. It tells you who's who when it comes to technology. Because there are some users who, you call them up and be like, hey, just checking in, you got the new computer, I can help you move the files over and all that, whatever. That's fine. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I already unboxed the computer and I got logged in and everything. I just need this, this, and this. Thanks. Whatever. Wow, amazing initiative. They figured out how to turn on the computer and log in. Incredible, And then you have people who go, huh? New computer? What? I didn't even open the box yet. And then when they do, they're like, it's asking me for a username. What do I do? Well, you probably put your username in there, right? Oh, okay, yeah. It's not working. Why isn't it working? Well, that's because you put your email address in there. That's not your username. So here's your username, because I'm just going to give it to you because clearly you're not very computer savvy.
Does your environment do what I think your environment does? Because
may or may not be able to answer the question.
Okay, so I'm talking about the user's principal name, right?
Yes.
Is the user's principal name different from their email address? I'm guessing it is.
Usually, yes. And also, there isn't really, because like I work for like a parent company that just loves to buy other companies. So, well, that means that you run into a lot of weird naming conventions, and none of them are really uniform. So that's good.
I have started to understand our naming convention a little bit better. So, like, the way we name our systems is like location, operating system, what that system is used for, whether it's like production, development.
Oh, yeah, also that. A lot of the computers are named like site name and then some numbers or whatever. But the new naming convention, okay, get a load of this. It's dreadful. It's company name followed by 10 characters or something like that of just complete gibberish. That's it. No matter where that computer went, what site it went to, who has it, whatever, as long as it belongs to the company, that's its name.
Our naming convention
by seeing a computer, you will have no way to determine where it is, who has it, what it might be for. Nope. You get nothing.
So we do that for our servers, right? So the naming convention that I just gave you was like for our servers, right? So I can tell what location it's in. I can tell what platform it is. I can tell what
Sounds lovely.
what its intended purpose is, and then what we'll do is we'll add something else, like we have like a lot of application servers, so there'll be app, right? And then we'll have a sequential number sequence, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, whatever, right? And then we may have 4 more characters afterwards describing what that particular application is. So like my print server is, I'm not actually going to say it because that would be stupid, but location, operating system, I guess I could say this one because it's a print server, so it's production, right? App, what its number is, and then PRNT. So, I think that's vague enough that I haven't given too much away. But anyway, what's somebody gonna do with our print server? I don't know. Nobody prints anything.
Yep, printing is boomer technology, let it be known.
So, the way we do our workstations, though, we have asset tags on all of our devices. So, 5 numbers, basically, right? So, whatever the asset tag is on that computer is what we name that computer. So, it doesn't tell me where that computer is, but when it comes to asking a user what computer they have, I just say, please tell me what the asset tag on the bottom of your computer is. And then they're like, oh, it's like 13231 or whatever, right? I'm like, cool, awesome. Now I can go look that up. So, so from that standpoint, that makes it really easy. But, yeah. Yeah, kind of a neat technology. I've seen bits and pieces and played with some of the autopilot stuff. So actually, one of my big projects that I worked on was taking an older computer that we had, figuring out how to generate its hardware ID, importing that manually into Intune, and then autopilot enrolling that into autopilot.
What?
Basically.
So it exports a CSV, right?
So it exports a CSV. So what you do is
then you go into then you go in and just import the CSV, and then bam bam.
Yeah. So okay. So here's how this works, right? So plain vanilla Windows, load onto a system, run some PowerShell scripts that generates a file. You take that file, you import it into Intune, into the enrollment part, right? It will grab or it'll import that information in, basically, right? The hardware ID and stuff. And then our environment, as I'm sure your environment does, auto populates a profile and some other stuff for it, right? Then what you do is you take that computer, you factory wipe it with the reset option in Windows, and then it comes back up, you connect it to the internet, asks you for some information, and it enrolled it into our environment. Pretty simple. So that's why I know that the once it's actually in Intune and ready to be autopilot like enrolled, right? That side is really slick. But we are putting an order in relatively soon for our next workstation refresh.
Are you gonna say pre-provision?
Yes, so they are going to come already automatically enrolled into, supposedly. The idea is that the vendor is going to have them imported into our Intune enrollment site somehow. I don't know how that works on their end, but yeah, basically all the idea is that all the new hardware that we're going to be ordering would be autopilot ready already out of the box. So, literally, computers come in, we make sure that they're not DOA, and then when it's time to get a new user ready, we literally just give them the computer. Say, here, turn it on, sign in, you're good to go.
Nice.
So,
is your vendor CDW by chance? Because CDW does that exact same thing for us.
Yes, our vendor is CDW.
Yep.
So we are looking at getting that order in shortly. I worked on an audit this morning to understand what, or at least two particular variants of systems that we have, to understand what users had them, and we're going to kind of go from there. I'm not responsible for the actual purchasing, but I've been asked my input on what we've been seeing with our current systems, problems, things like that. So, yeah. And I'm sure it's going to take forever for those systems to arrive. So, our environment, or my organization tends to move pretty quickly. So we try to do a workstation refresh about every 3 years is what my understanding is. It's about as long as we keep hardware around. That hardware, that is. So, I don't know. What have you seen in the environments that you've been in? Is that pretty common, or?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, you probably haven't been with your current employer long enough to necessarily know.
Yeah.
What about your other employer? Or did they just kind of like, yep, when it dies, we'll get new stuff?
Not a lot of consistency, I would say. Both previous employers would, well, they would have a, like, we want to do it every few years, but usually that doesn't happen, and so when we get new computers in, we just give them to the people who have the worst computers.
Or, you just work in the IT department, you nuke your computer off the domain, so you get a new one anyway. Whoops. Yeah, I actually did that.
Nice.
I told you about that, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, whoops. It's okay. New computers will be coming in. I might have to do that to my computer again.
Dreadful, huh?
No, I really don't want to.
Darn, looks like my computer is just not working so good anymore. Might need a new one.
I really do not want to do that. I don't want to. It's a pain in the rear end moving computers. I had to reinstall a bunch of software and stuff like that. Ugh, not fun. So, anyway. But yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think it is time to wrap up the show for this week. So, thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed our bantering back and forth on our BS, please give this show a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Get subscribed if you haven't done that already, and we'll see you next time here on the Ram Show. Goodbye.